Think about it. We use the internet every single day for pretty much everything. But for most of us, how it works is, well, it's basically magic, right? Today, we're going to pull back the curtain and look at the actual machinery that makes it all run. All right, it's Friday, and I've got one big idea that I want you to walk away with this week. And it's this: getting a real, solid understanding of how the internet actually works. Not as some floaty, abstract concept, but as a real, concrete thing. And that right there is our starting point. If you take away only one thing, let it be this: the internet isn't some fluffy cloud up in the sky. It isn't some invisible force. It's a machine, a really, really big one. Okay, so if it's not magic, what is it exactly? Well, at its very core, the internet is just a whole bunch of smaller networks all connected to each other. Let's start by unpacking that because it's the key to everything. So let's start with the basic building block, a network. What is it? It's really just a few computers that are linked together with wires or wirelessly so they can share information. You know, the Wi-Fi in your house? That's a network. The computers at your office? That's another one. Simple as that. The internet is what happens when you take that simple idea and you scale it way, way up. I'm talking about taking billions of those individual networks, your home, the local coffee shop, huge data centers, and connecting all of them all across the planet. That's all the internet is, a network of networks. Okay, so it's a giant web of connected networks. Got it. But how does that work when you actually do something? Let's take an action you probably do 100 times a day, visiting a website, and let's trace its journey from your keyboard out into the world. So what feels completely instant is actually this super fast 4-step dance. You type a website name, your computer then has to find its real address. That's a critical translation job handled by something called DNS. Once it has the address, your computer sends out a request, and then the server sends the website's data right back to you. And this DNS thing is kinda the secret ingredient. The source material uses a brilliant analogy for it. DNS is the internet's phone book. Think about it. You don't memorize everyone's phone number, you just know their name. Your phone does the lookup. It's the exact same idea here. So the key takeaway is that DNS is a translator. We humans remember names, like Google.com. Computers, on the other hand, they only work with numbers. That number is called an IP address, and it's basically the unique street address for every single device online. DNS is what connects the name we know to the number the computer needs. Okay, so your computer has the right address. Now what? It can't just shout into the internet and hope for the best. There have to be rules for the conversation, right? An agreed upon way for them to talk. And that's where HTTP comes into play. You can think of it as the official language of the web. It's the protocol, the set of rules that web browsers and servers have all agreed to use so that they can understand each other without any confusion. So what does HTTP actually do? Well, it sets the rules for everything. It defines how your browser has to structure its request when it says, hey, please send me this web page. And it defines exactly how the server has to format its response when it says, okay, here's the data. This common language is what makes the whole thing work so reliably. You know, this chart is a fantastic way to pull all those pieces together. The internet itself is like the whole road system. The servers are the houses located along those roads. The IP address is the specific street address for each house. DNS is the phone book or GPS you use to find that address. And HTTP, that's the language you speak when you finally get there. It all just clicks, right? Now there's one last piece to this puzzle. We've got the roads, the addresses, and the language. But underneath it all, there's an even deeper level of organization that makes the whole system work without falling apart. I mean, how do you get the physical cables, the wireless signals, the addressing, and the applications to all work together in harmony? How do you keep them from getting in each other's way? Well, the brilliant answer is you separate their jobs. You do it with layers. This is the famous OSI model. Now, I want you to look at this, but please do not try to memorize this list. I'm serious. The point isn't to remember every single layer. The big, powerful idea is the concept of layers itself. And the core idea is really simple. Each of these layers has a very specific job. The physical layer, for example, only cares about the physical wires and radio waves. The application layer up top only cares about things like HTTP. By separating the jobs like this, the whole system becomes way more powerful and a whole lot easier to manage. So why did we just go through all that? Because understanding this fundamental structure completely changes how you see the digital world. It's a massive shift in perspective, from seeing magic to seeing a machine.
Before, maybe the internet just felt like some abstract cloud, but now you can see what's really going on. You see the systems of translation like DNS, you see the routing across networks, you see the protocols, the rules like HTTP that provide the structure. The magic disappears and it's replaced by something way more impressive: incredible engineering.
Our source material just nails it with this quote. When technology is a black box, it feels intimidating. But the moment you understand the structure, that intimidation goes away. You realize it's just a system. Yeah, a complex one, but a system that can be understood. So here it is, that one-sentence summary for your week. The internet is not magic. It's an understandable system built on structured communication, governed by agreed-upon rules, and organized into logical layers.
And I'll leave you with a final thought to take with you. Now that you've peeked behind the curtain of the internet, what's next? What other piece of magic in your daily life is actually just a fascinating system waiting for you to explore it? Thanks for watching.